I ask my colleagues present here to apologize my pronunciation because I'm a Francophone. Don't be surprised. My communication about water resources management challenges and the problems in Burundi is developed. I have an introduction and 4 sections about the presentation. The first section is about the political, institutional, legislative, and regulatory considerations. The second section is about human capacities, technical and scientific research. The third section is about the environment field, and the last section is the financial mechanism and the sub-region cooperation. The last is the conclusion. In my introduction, I showed that the Burundi's 2025 vision expresses a better living environment for Burundians, as well as necessary economic and social changes. Therefore, it appears that Burundians want a better water resources management, such as water could play a central role in the socio-economic development of the country, instead to being a factor of environment degradation for the country, because in the last years, Burundi has being a victim of natural disasters of drought and floods. Concerning sanitation, Burundi people wishes safe urban and rural environments by applying the polluter payer law and principle. However, this vision of Burundi about water resources management is confronted with many challenges and contrasts, despite the natural resources available as well as institutional assets of the country. About the political, institutional, and the legislative and the regulatory considerations, we have two aspects. Political, firstly, the main problem is the lack of coordination of the national policy on water resource management and sanitation. The major challenge is to develop a realistic and a comprehensive national policy of water management and basic sanitation. In that perspective, a ministry in charge of water was recently established. The institutional framework is incomplete. There are no national structures that could perform important functions such as coordination, database management, and water quality monitoring. The instability of institutions disrupts sector development program and weakness the national water partnerships. The major challenge is the commitment of decision makers to establish a consistent and stable water resources management institutions. We insist the existing legislative and regulatory instruments are mostly incomplete and ineffective because of lack of complementarity applications text. Moreover, another big challenge is in this area is an awareness of the need of legal and regulatory instruments. The opportunities are many, the existence of basic laws which required to be updated and completed. The second checks is about the human capacities, technical and scientific research. In terms of human capacity and research, the major problem is insufficient qualified human capacities for the management, use, and research on water resources. The challenges are the development of national capacities for planning and management of water resources and the availability of research resources. In terms of knowledge of water resources, insufficient data on surface water and the lack of data on ground hydrological potential constitute the main barrier to developing planning of water resources. In terms of integral water research management, involves the participation of all actors and at all levels. Currently, integrated water resources management does not yet exist. Each actor work is in isolation. The dialogue forum and the participation of stakeholders remain weak. The challenge is adherence of water sector actors to the principle of dialogue in integrated water resource management. On the technical level, the problems are many. They include low rate of access to safe drinking water and sanitation, inadequate infrastructure, poor water control for different uses, insufficient data and information on water, essential for proper planning of the development of the resource. Other major challenges are obtaining to means for raising the rate service, professional management of infrastructure and services, and control water for various uses. Section 3, environment field. On the environment level, increasing population pressure on water resources, bush fires, the presence of floating oils, recurring climate extremes, lack of adequate infrastructure for the protection of soil and water and sanitation is a series of environmental problems affecting water resources management. The main challenges are essentially the awareness of population negative impact of strong demographics on water resources, obtaining resources for the establishment of sanitation infrastructures, development of a system early warning, and operationalization of relief structures and disaster management, and inadequate watershed management. An important asset is capitalizing awareness of increasingly growing makers and civil society on the vulnerability of the environment in general and water in particular. Section 4, financial mechanism and sub-region cooperation. In economic and financially, the weak financial capacity of the state to support the development sector is a big problem because pricing that does not allow to recover of costs to water and sanitation services, the absence of the private sector in financing water infrastructure, and the low level of perception of the economic value water by beneficiaries are key issues facing the sector. Challenges in this area include the establishment of inequitable fee structure, effective and sustainable low purchasing power, and the poor and the other vulnerable groups, low awareness of the beneficiaries on the need to pay for water services and sanitation, limited capacity to develop economically viable projects, limited financial capacity of the state, the organization of the water sector to make it attractive external financing, and the improvement of the financial and the commercial management water and sanitation services. In terms of sub-regional cooperation, it lacks some cooperation frameworks and delivery of political commitment, and the sub-region is still weak in management of shared or transboundary water resources. Okay. At national level, tracking capabilities, evaluation, and the negotiation of agreement and the convention related to the management of shared or transboundary water resources also remain low. I can go to the conclusion. The evaluation of integrated water resources management in Burundi has many challenges related mainly to weakness in one, the coordination of public and private, the rate of access to drinking water and basic sanitation, the rational, fair, and efficient use of water, infrastructure management, physical environment of water resources conservation, the financial means to develop and sustain water infrastructure, skilled human resources in terms of knowledge on the resource. The challenges lie to this problematic are enough to draw the attention of government to revise its policy plans and programs in order to create a real sustainable water resource management framework. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.